Welcome to the Explainer. Look, imagine spending thousands of pounds just to drive traffic to your online store, only to sit back and watch, like 98% of those people walk right out the virtual door without buying a single thing. It is brutal, right? It's the incredibly painful reality of wasted acquisition costs in e-commerce. But what if those visitors weren't actually gone forever? What if they were just kind of pausing? Today, we're diving into the data to see exactly how top platforms are turning those returning visitors into paying customers.
Okay, let's dive into this. So, why do most visitors leave your website without buying? It's so easy to take that bounce as a total rejection, but the data actually paints a very different picture. In sectors like fashion, electronics, and home improvement, multi-session buying behavior is completely normal. I mean, think about your own habits. People rarely buy on the very first click. They're taking their time. They're researching. So that initial exit isn't a permanent no. It's honestly just a not right now.
And there's a massive psychological difference here. A first-time visitor has very low familiarity, right? They're just doing some initial research, maybe exploring your brand for the first time. But a returning visitor, wow, they are an absolute hidden gold mine. They have high familiarity and proven commercial intent. They already know your pricing structure, they recognize your products, they know how your site works. Guiding them to a purchase is drastically more efficient than trying to win over a completely cold, brand new audience.
So here's exactly how we're going to solve this problem of lost e-commerce revenue today. We'll start by looking at the value of returning visitors, then we'll map out the remarketing process itself. Next up, rescuing abandoned carts, diving into personalization and urgency, exploring multi-channel remarketing, and finally measuring our success. Let's get right to it.
Part 1. The value of returning visitors. When we look at the actual psychology behind the exit, we see that users leave to compare prices, maybe review some specifications, check out alternatives, evaluate delivery options, or honestly, they just plan to return later. Think about that for a second. If a customer leaves your store to go check the shipping costs on a competitor's site, that actually indicates active consideration. That's not just casual browsing. They're in the buying mindset. They are actively negotiating the purchase in their own head. Our job is literally just to be there when they make that final decision.
Which brings us to part 2, the remarketing process.
So this builds into a complete dynamic remarketing workflow. Step 1, the user interacts with your website. Step 2, standard e-commerce pixels capture that specific behavioral data. Step 3, they're served a highly personalized ad. Step 4, they make a return visit. And Step 5, they finally purchase. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. Imagine a customer browsing a specific brown leather handbag on your site. They leave to go scroll social media. A few hours later, bam, they see an ad featuring that exact same brown leather handbag, dynamically pulled right from your inventory. You aren't just reminding them about your brand, you're reminding them about the very specific item they already fell in love with.
Moving on to part 3, rescuing abandoned carts.
Listen, if a returning visitor is a gold mine, a cart abandoner is a diamond just waiting to be picked up. This is absolutely your highest intent audience segment. Cart abandonment campaigns are highly targeted advertising workflows that remind customers of unfinished purchases to encourage checkout completion. They aren't about polite introductions. They're simply asking shoppers to finish what they started. And in highly competitive markets, like the UK e-commerce sector across fashion and electronics, these campaigns generate massively stronger conversion rates than your standard display ads, purely because the user had already mentally committed to the item before walking away.
So you gotta ask, why did they abandon the cart in the first place? Often, it's a final price comparison, delivery concerns, simple distractions, maybe delayed decisions, or just interrupted browsing. You know, maybe their train arrived, or worse, they remembered they had to cook dinner. Remarketing intercepts these exact issues. If they left because of delivery concerns, your remarketing ad can show a free shipping incentive. If they were just distracted, a simple reminder of that beautiful product, highlighting pricing consistency and availability, pulls them right back into your checkout flow.
Let's look at part 4, personalization and urgency.
And this brilliantly illustrates how purchase intent progressively increases based on behavior. A category visitor is just browsing the virtual aisles. A product viewer is showing specific interest in a particular item. But a cart abandoner, they are practically holding their credit card. You absolutely cannot speak to these 3 people the exact same way. A person who is deep into researching high-end gaming laptops shouldn't just get a generic one-size-fits-all electronics ad. No way. They need an ad for that specific gaming laptop, perfectly tailored to how far down the funnel they made it.
But it's not just about what they did, it's about when they did it.
If a user has been inactive for just 48 hours, they are incredibly hot. They need high-frequency messaging to capture that immediate intent. But if they've been inactive for 30 days, that requires a completely different, much softer re-engagement sequence. Matching your advertising frequency and your core message to their behavioral timeline drastically improves your click-through rates.
Now, once you have that perfect, personalized message, you need to add a little spark with urgency triggers. We're talking countdown offers, low stock notifications, limited delivery windows. End-of-season sales or delivery deadlines also work absolute wonders. See, personalization makes the ad highly relevant to them, but urgency is what actually forces the decision. It tells the customer, yes, this is exactly the shoe you want, but we only have 2 pairs left in your size. You need to grab it right now.
Part 5. Multi-channel remarketing. Think about the modern shopping journey for a second. It's everywhere. In the morning, your customer is browsing your site on their mobile phone while commuting on the train. In the afternoon, they're comparing products on a search engine at their office desk. In the evening, they see a display ad on social media while chilling on the couch. And finally, they return to your site on their desktop to actually buy. This is exactly why maintaining continuous visibility across multiple digital environments, mobile, search, display, and social, is totally essential. You have to create this seamless loopback to your checkout no matter where they go online.
And finally, Part 6. Measuring success. When we look at core remarketing KPIs, it's not just about standard conversion rates. Return on ad spend, or ROAS, proves your overarching profitability. Cart recovery rate shows exactly how many lost checkout sessions you actually rescued. But here is the absolutely critical one: customer acquisition cost. Efficient remarketing actually reduces your overall acquisition cost because you are focusing your advertising budget on previously engaged audiences who are, frankly, vastly cheaper to convert than brand new, cold traffic. Because as acquiring new traffic becomes increasingly competitive, especially in cutthroat markets like the UK across retail, beauty, and electronics, converting existing visitors isn't just a nice little marketing tactic anymore. It is a strategic necessity. Ad costs are rising everywhere. If you are only chasing new traffic and ignoring the people who have already visited your store, you are literally leaving an enormous amount of money right on the table.
It really all boils down to this. Remarketing turns previous interest into continued engagement into purchase intent, and purchase intent into completed transactions. It is a structured, predictable, and highly profitable pathway to revenue.
Which leaves us with one final, provocative question for your business. Are you leaving your most valuable customers behind, or are you ready to guide them back to the checkout? The data is crystal clear, the strategies are proven, and the revenue is sitting right there in those abandoned carts, just waiting for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Start segmenting those returning visitors, build that dynamic urgency, and go capture that hidden gold mine. I will see you next time.